Family, welcome back to the channel. So we're about to watch this video right here titled It's Deeper Than You Think, and it's really gonna get into the battle between good and evil spiritually, the world that we actually live in. Now I need to give you guys this parable really quick. Like, I have to. I'm not gonna lie, I read it and there's no way I can continue on with this video without telling you. So just, you know what I'm saying? But basically, Jesus was explaining the kingdom of God like this. He said that there was a master that had planted seeds to grow wheat, okay? He had planted it on good soil, and when they went to sleep, the enemy came along and planted weeds in that soil also. So when the servants realized this, they asked the master, yo, should we take the weeds out right now? And then the master was like, nah, the enemy did that. Don't take them out right now. Wait for the harvest, and then we'll take out the weeds, bundle them up, throw them in the fire and burn them, and then we'll take the wheat and bring them to my barn. So all this to say is that whenever you realize like bad things come into your life, whether it's like the weeds, you feel what I'm saying? Just know that's not of God. Know that's the enemy. But in the same exact time, God is allowing that to happen for you to grow. So whenever there's a bad thing coming, just allow that to actually bring you closer to God. The same exact thing. He wants the wheat to grow, so when it's time for harvest, you're fruitful. You feel what I'm saying? So in this video, that's why we're about to watch this, so we could just get a little bit more insight of the reality of this spiritual battle, y'all. Let's get straight into this.
You can pray for that individual. And here's what, when you think of principalities of good versus evil, every time you pray for them, you're moving angels in over them. So you're really afflicting them. They don't like the light on them. They want the demons around them. But by putting those angels around them, you bring light on them.
This is a man who clearly knows that we are fighting against unseen forces, dark forces. He mentions the word principalities. The Bible speaks about principalities multiple times, and we all know that the Bible says, "For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places." Principalities are high-ranking demonic forces, and they're in operation behind certain ideologies in this world, and even certain organizations in this world. Have you ever seen a company begin to promote something that has nothing to do with their actual core product or service, but they begin to promote something, some activity, some message that is sinful and against the Bible? This is the work of dark forces that the Bible tells us about.
The difference is that I play the truth. So if you go to the devil to play the devil will deceive you and put something up there that deceives the public. He'll always try to hide in the shadow. He'll always try, because he doesn't like the light, even though he's called the light, the illuminator, Lucifer. And he tries to mimic God. He tries to be like God. So there's always like, if God has love and what we see as love, he creates lust. He's always trying to be like that.
The devil will never present himself out in the open. He'll never make a big announcement about his plans and his ways. No. Because his aim is to deceive. And when you want to deceive, you can only do it by appearing to be something that you actually aren't. The devil will deceive by appearing to be an angel of light, when he is pure, utter darkness.
Well, you haven't seen a black hole. You haven't seen the force of gravity. The fact that you don't see something doesn't mean that it does not exist. Again, the Bible becomes the final court of arbitration because you can demonstrate that the Bible corresponds to reality, therefore it becomes an objective and reliable authority. And the Bible does make plain that there are principalities and powers of darkness, that there are non-corporeal, non-physical beings that inhabit this world, that they were created by God, and though they are spirit beings, in no way does that suggest that they're not real beings. In fact, human beings themselves are body-soul unities, and when the body dies, the soul leaves that body and continues to have awareness. It doesn't have awareness, extension in space, because it's non-physical, but it continues to have awareness as a believer in the presence of God, as a non-believer in torment, according to the Lord's own words from Luke chapter 16.
A few years ago, Ro Moody wrote an insightful...
And a lot of people don't like that, the reality of like heaven and hell, and like what Jesus said about heaven and hell. But I mean, we all have to appreciate the fact that Jesus was the most perfect. Like, he's never sinned. There's no documentation of him sinning. The only sin that you could possibly find Jesus doing, sin, is him claiming to be God. And that's why they crucified him on the cross. But people don't like the heaven and hell thing, because a lot of people think that God is the one, like, yo, like, you're gonna go to hell. But like, a lot of times we just reject him also. Like, we can have that free will of saying, you know what, I'm gonna accept Jesus, I'm gonna accept God, and through that, you know, I can enter into his kingdom. If you reject him, where do you think you're gonna go? Not his kingdom, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just common sense.
Article titled "The Christian and Spiritual Warfare Today." And the article reads, "First, we must learn that our ultimate enemy is spiritual, not human." It is here that Paul reminds us in the classic passage on spiritual warfare in Ephesians 6, verse 10 to 12, that we are not only opposed by human beings, but ultimately by dark supernatural powers. That means that even those who persecute Christians and are opposed to the gospel are actually controlled by satanic forces. It is these dark powers and principalities, demons, and evil spirits that dominate natural structures and deceive human beings. Does that not mean that we Christians ought to live in fear of powerful, malevolent spiritual forces? Or expect extraordinary miracles to ward off evil? The devil is committed to preventing people from knowing God and trusting him with their lives. The enemy's tactics do differ depending on whether someone is already a Christian or not, but his ultimate purpose is always to keep people from experiencing the love of God. Now, let me clarify this for everyone listening. Spiritual warfare is not something to be feared, because the battle belongs to the Lord. This war is not one that we fight on our own, but we allow God to fight for us, because it's only when we do this that we'll be able to wage victorious spiritual warfare. This war affects every area of your life. There is no way you can avoid the conflict. But a lot of Christians don't even know they're at war. But others can see the results of the battle in their lives because they've become casualties of spiritual warfare. They're discouraged, depressed, downtrodden, and defeated. Others are marital and family casualties. Divorce, conflict, and abuse are some of the battle scars these believers bear. But let me tell you this. The devil and his demons do not care whether you know how they work. The forces of darkness don't care whether you know their action plan and devices. They only care about which road you're on, which direction you're heading in. They only care about what you do in those private moments, because that's what counts. You see, there are forces of darkness at work in this world, and you need to pray for understanding, because the kingdom of darkness is exactly what it says it is: a kingdom filled with darkness. Meaning there is some level of organization, there is a hierarchy and a way of operation. And so a believer with wisdom and understanding will know that there are certainly individual demons that we face. But there are also stronger, darker forces and principalities at work. And they are embedded within society, in institutions, in certain...
But I'm gonna be honest with you guys, like, even though it's talking about all these principalities and demons, they're nothing to be fearful of, to be honest, as long as you have God. Like, that's just the main thing. Like with God, He'll give you the clarity to know, to see, actually discern whether it's like demonic or not. And God is also just gonna fight that battle for you. Like literally just submit. He's our Father. You feel what I'm saying? So there's nothing to be scared of at all.
Localized regions all around the world. As a matter of fact, some of the most evil spirits at work today aren't the ones that possess people, but the principalities that animate and control power structures and institutions like governments, schools, or economies. So you see, the danger in being spiritually dead is that you will be unaware of all of this.
Exactly.
If you're spiritually dead, you are dangerously unaware of the influence that the God of this world has on this world. It doesn't matter what the kingdom of darkness does, because in Jesus, we have the victory already. Now, if you take a look around, look at the news, look at current affairs, it's clear to see that there is a lot of darkness in this world. The hearts of many has grown cold. Godly values, biblical values are no longer held in high esteem in society. You look at the television, you watch the news and look at the entertainment industry, and you'll find that there's so much hatred, idolatry, and pride that has infiltrated our culture. And if you are not careful, it's easy to be influenced, swayed, and enticed by the evil around us. But I want to remind you that greater is He who is within us than he who is in the world.
Facts, 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 facts. Hey, that's a good one. It's always good just to come across these videos and hear what they have to say about topics like this, because you can always grab different just different information. So like I said, it's gonna be around the world, and he said that the God of this world, lowercase g, is saying he has a large plan what actually goes on, like when it comes to these corporations, the influencers, when it comes to like rappers and like what they promote, the labels, and everything of that nature. You feel what I'm saying? And even people, these things you can call the weeds. Bringing it back to the parable, these are the weeds, and that's why they're still here. Being the harvest, being the actual wheat, he wants us to actually grow, and then he'll take us into the barn. But he wants to give everyone that chance to grow closer to God. So every opportunity you get, whether it's good or bad, is all meant for a purpose. Yeah. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. Make sure you do smash the like button, subscribe, turn on post notifications. I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one the same way you're gonna catch me in the next one. Peace. Love ya.